An influencer tried to seduce my boyfriend for content. Then charged viewers to watch what she advertised as a hotel meeting. I warned her to stop, not for my sake, hers. It began after I posted vacation photographs with Aaron. A self-proclaimed relationship tester messaged me. "Your boyfriend looks like a player. Give me his Instagram and I'll test him for free." I refused. I called the offer what it was. A stranger trying to insert herself into someone else's relationship. She posted our private conversation and played the victim. Thousands of people invaded my account, calling me stupid, insecure, and afraid of the truth. I apologized publicly because I wanted the noise to end. It only convinced them I was hiding something. A few days later, the tester posted Aaron's accepted friend request and part of a chat. Beneath the caption, "Easy catch. Your boyfriend isn't behaving." The post passed 10,000 likes within an hour. 2 screenshots were enough to build the story they wanted. The first showed her flirtatious friend request. The second showed the new chat interface. No one knew what Aaron had written behind it yet. The pinned comments announced that he was already flirting, and that I had refused the test only because I knew he was trash. Each accusation tagged my account, making silence look like confession and any answer look like denial. I wrote one explanation. Aaron and I had known each other since high school. I trusted him if our relationship failed. I would leave. But I would not turn a person I loved into an experiment for strangers. The tester replied with tears and pet names. She only wanted to save women from bad men. Her followers praised her courage, and diagnosed me as a woman too weak to accept reality. That evening, Aaron sat on our sofa smiling at his phone. When I entered, he jerked it face down. "You're home, early summer. Talking to someone, a buddy." He blinked. Aaron always blinked when he lied. I told him about work while his eyes kept drifting to the screen. Finally, I asked whether a stranger had added him that day. No. We had survived crushes, workers, and years of growing up. I did not want an influencer to decide what those years meant. I went to bed telling myself that privacy was not betrayal. Then her next post appeared. The chat began awkwardly, but changed when she learned Aaron loved gaming. Soon, their conversation flowed. Aaron was excellent at games. I was terrible. So I had stopped joining him, rather than drag him down. The tester had found a space I had voluntarily left empty. Her profile was built from similar cases. Every cover declared another man certified scum. And every comment section thanked her for rescuing a woman, with my name attached. Her follower count climbed overnight. The more I asked her to leave us alone, the more proof she claimed to have that I needed saving. My relationship had become a serialized product, and she controlled each episode. When Aaron entered the bedroom, I asked, "I can trust you, right?" He smiled, pulled me into his arms and pressed his face to my forehead. Of course. Several days later, I saw him on a pedestrian street far from his club. A woman in a fitted black dress held his hand. It was the tester. I hurried toward them. She released him and ran. Aaron turned with panic across his face. "Who was that?" I asked. "A salesperson." She wouldn't stop pulling me toward her products. "Why are you here?" He claimed he knew I had a client meeting nearby, and wanted to surprise me with lunch. He showed me a reservation at a couple's restaurant, though the gaudy decor was not my taste. The thought softened me. Halfway through the meal, the tester posted a photograph taken from across the room. "Sweetie, you ate the meal meant for me." In the image, I was smiling. Aaron happened to be looking down, allowing her followers to describe him as trapped and miserable. The caption changed the meaning of a real moment, more efficiently than any lie could. The lunch that had briefly reassured me became another installment, sold to thousands of strangers. Check. The place where the photograph had been taken, empty. Her private message arrived seconds later. Her tone remained breezy and pitying. She guessed the exact lie Aaron had told. "Salesperson. Stay away from me and my boyfriend." I wrote. "Whatever excuse you use. This is interference," she sighed, as if helpless. "Every woman reacted like me when facing reality," she said. But that was fine. She promised to continue testing him until I came back to thank her. Aaron received a message and stood. "I'll be busy. I have to go." From the window, I watched him enter his car. A woman slid into the passenger seat. Her face was hidden, but her black dress was unmistakable. The scandal followed me to work. When I returned, The afternoon proposal was still spread across the desk, unfinished. I demanded to know why. Several employees lowered their heads. But the new intern in the corner kept scrolling through her phone and laughing. "What are you laughing at?" She turned the screen toward me. The tester's latest post was trending. And everyone around us had seen it. "Miss Reynolds, your own face is being slapped to pieces online. And you still come here to lecture us." The others joined her. The tester had not merely made strangers doubt my relationship. She had made my private humiliation a reason for people at work to dismiss my authority. My supervisor entered and saw the incomplete work. "Your personal drama is harming the company's image," said. "Fix it within a week or leave it home." The rooms were dark. Aaron had left a note. He had something to handle. I should care for myself and he would bring a gift when he returned. His phone was unavailable. My messages stayed unread. The note gave no destination, no return time, and no explanation for why a gift would make the silence acceptable. For days, Aaron had insisted nothing unusual was happening. The only public itinerary belonged to the woman who had promised to prove he was unfaithful. The tester pinned a plane ticket and selfie to her profile. "A certain gentleman invited me to travel. I'll live stream the final test. Access required payment." Her followers rushed to buy it, promising to watch. The moment I was finally forced to admit they had been right, the more the tester sold access to my pain, the less anyone cared that I had never consented to her experiment. I told her publicly once more to stop bothering us for her own good. The crowd treated the warning as proof I was desperate. Then a stranger sent me a friend request. First message contained a photograph of Aaron and a location. "He's here. I booked a flight for Saturday. On my way to catch the flight." A young woman blocked me. She claimed the tester had once saved her from a bad relationship and urged me to wake up. I agreed solemnly, then held out $100 bill. "You explained it perfectly. I found this money. Take it." She hesitated, called it improper, then reached for it. I pulled the bill away. "You would take lost money. You failed the morality test." Sympathy vanished. "What's wrong with you?" I gave sincere advice. "You people love tests. Why are you angry when someone tests you? That's different. We test love. Who gave you the right to test either?" She called me a doormat and stormed away. After I landed, the tester had already begun her paid live stream from a hotel room. She reclined on a soft bed in a slip dress, while viewers mocked me for hiding at home. I watched their chat in silence. Viewers asked why I had not appeared, and whether I was hiding somewhere crying. The tester told them to be patient with an unenlightened woman, her lips curling into a smile. The scheduled meeting time passed. Then more time passed. Questions appeared in the chat. Had the man stood her up? Were the messages state aged? No one had ever seen the two of them together on video. Panic flashed across her face before she tossed her hair. When a woman like me makes a move, no man can resist. One viewer asked her to test another boyfriend next. She agreed, saying she would do it after she successfully helped me break up. I watched silently until I could not resist commenting. "While there is still time to salvage this. Stop now," I wrote. The chat exploded at my appearance. The tester pushed her shoulders back toward the camera. "Don't be afraid, sweetie. This is all for your own good." The lock clicked, the hotel door opened and a man stepped into the room. The lock clicked, the hotel door opened, and a man stepped into the room. It was Aaron. He wore a tailored gray overshirt, carrying a single leather duffel bag over his shoulder. The room's yellow ambient light caught the edge of his jaw. On screen, he looked composed, almost casual, lacking the jittery hesitation of a man caught in an illicit liaison. Chloe, that was her handle, Chloe Tests, though her real name was Chloe Vance, leaned forward on the bed. She adjusted the spaghetti strap of her silk slip dress with practiced delicacy, ensuring the angle captured the contour of her collarbone while keeping the phone's front-facing lens unobstructed. "You took your time," she murmured, voice pitched into that soft, sultry register she used for her $10 pay-per-view tier. I was starting to think. "You got cold feet." Aaron dropped his bag by the luggage rack. The thud was heavy, solid. Traffic from the airport was backed up. "You said room 412, right?" "Right here," Chloe purred, casting a knowing, victorious glance toward the pinhole camera of her streaming phone propped against the vanity mirror. The live chat was moving so rapidly the text blurred into a cascade of white noise. He actually showed up. Look at him. Not a single thought about Summer. At home. Summer Reynolds is watching this right now. I saw her in the viewer list. Certified trash. Chloe never misses. Take his jacket off, Chloe. Show everyone what high school sweethearts are worth. I sat in the back seat of a rideshare idling 3 floors below on the hotel's perimeter road, watching the display through my tablet screen. The driver asked if I wanted him to keep the meter running. I told him to give me 20 minutes. On the screen, Chloe slid off the edge of the mattress and walked toward Aaron. On bare feet. Her movements were rehearsed, the slight sway, the tilted chin, the subtle reach toward his chest. You really came all this way just to see me? She asked, looking up through mascara-coated lashes. What about that girl back home? The one who swore you'd never look twice at anyone else? Aaron looked down at her hands resting against his linen shirt. He didn't pull away. He didn't lean in either. Then he blinked. Twice. Fast. To 1 million casual viewers across 3 platforms, it looked like a sheepish man caught between lust and guilt. But I had known Aaron since 11th grade. Chemistry. I knew that blink. He wasn't nervous about infidelity. He was calculating a price. Summer is busy with her career, Aaron said smoothly. She worries too much about things she can't control. Chloe let out a breathy laugh, throwing her head back slightly for the lens. Men always say that when they're ready to trade up. You know this is being broadcast, don't you? Aaron paused. His hand reached into his jacket pocket. Broadcast to how many? Chloe smiled, drunk on her own leverage. 32,000 in the private room right now. At $10 a head. Do the math, Aaron. Your little girlfriend is watching you right now. Say hello to her. She turned, pointing her manicured finger directly at the phone propped on the vanity. Aaron didn't flinch. Instead, he pulled out a slim, black leather folder and flipped it open. 32,000 people at $10 each, Aaron said, his voice flattening into an unnerving, clinical cadence. That's $320,000 in gross revenue generated using my likeness, name, private residence address, and employer information without a signed commercial release or statutory consent under state wiretapping laws. Chloe's smile remained frozen for a second before twitching. What? Aaron stepped past her, walked straight over to the vanity, and picked up the phone. He turned the rear camera around, aiming it squarely at Chloe's face. My name is Aaron Vance Cole, he said clearly into the microphone. I am an attorney specializing in commercial fraud and digital harassment with Vance, Miller and Sterling. The woman holding this broadcast, Chloe Vance, is my second cousin. And for the past 7 months, she has been running an extortion ring disguised as relationship fidelity audits. The silence in the live stream was instantaneous. The comments section froze for 3 full seconds before detonating in a frenzy of punctuation marks and confused outrage. Chloe's face drained of every drop of color. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. The sultry influencer persona dissolved, leaving behind a terrified 24-year-old woman in a cheap satin nightgown. Turn that off, she hissed, lunging for the phone. Aaron, turn it the fuck off. Aaron held the device easily out of her reach, his height giving him complete control. You blocked my number when I served you with our family trusts. Cease and desist 2 months ago. You used stolen photographs of my vehicle, fabricated text exchanges using an SMS spoofing dashboard, and paid micro-influencers to brigade Summer Reynolds' corporate LinkedIn profile. Shut up. Chloe screamed, her voice cracking as she clawed at his arm. You came here. You agreed to the hotel room. You texted me from the bar. I came here, Aaron replied calmly, keeping the camera centered on her trembling frame, with Detective Miller from the Metro Cyber Crimes Division and 2 process servers who are currently waiting in the hallway. We have 5 months of your payment gateway logs, your coordinated harassment channels on Telegram, and the bank accounts where you routed kickbacks from Menu. Blackmailed into paying kill fees to keep their edited videos offline. He lowered the phone slightly, looking directly into the lens. To the 32,000 people who paid to watch this, save your transaction receipts. You will be receiving subpoenas as potential witnesses in a class action wire fraud suit. Have a good evening. He tapped the screen. The feed cut to black. I opened the car door, stepped out into the humid evening air, and walked through the sliding glass doors of the hotel lobby. The chandelier light inside was cool and white, reflecting off polished marble. As I reached the elevator bank, the doors slid open on the 4th floor and 2 uniformed officers walked past me toward room 412, followed by a middle-aged man carrying a stack of blue-backed legal briefs. I didn't rush. I walked with steady, unhurried steps until I reached the open doorway. Inside, Chloe was sitting on the edge of the bed, a hotel bath towel wrapped over her shoulders, her hands trembling violently as a female officer stood near the wardrobe taking photographs of the camera setup. Aaron was by the window, speaking quietly to a detective in a charcoal suit. When the floorboards creaked under my boots, Chloe's head snapped up. Her eyes were red, mascara streaked down both cheeks in dark, jagged tracks. When she saw me, her expression shifted from fear to a sudden, venomous despair. "You knew," Chloe whispered. You set me up." I stood in the doorway with my hands in the pockets of my trench coat. "I told you 3 times, I said, my voice quiet enough that the officers didn't even look up from their paperwork. The first time was in your direct messages. I told you not to insert yourself into things you didn't understand. The second time was under your trending post, when I said I wouldn't turn my relationship into an experiment for strangers. The third time was 20 minutes ago in your chat room. I told you to stop for your own sake." Chloe shook her head wildly. "You acted like a victim. You made a public apology. You let everyone call you weak and stupid. Because every time I defended myself, you added another 1,000 followers, I said. And every time your follower count grew, your legal exposure increased. From a misdemeanor nuisance into a federal felony involving interstate commerce and coordinated wire fraud. We needed you to cross the $300,000 threshold in paid subscriptions before we executed the warrant. You reached it at 8 o'clock tonight." Chloe stared at me, her chest heaving under the towel. "You're a monster. You let your own boyfriend pretend to flirt with me." "Aaron didn't flirt with you," I said coldly. "The chat logs you posted were altered. The man you met on the pedestrian street was an actor you hired to stage photographs from across the restaurant. We pulled the surveillance footage from the bistro 3 days ago. You paid him $400 via Cash App at 1:15 p.m. in the alley behind the kitchen." Aaron finished his conversation with the detective and walked over, standing beside me. He looked tired, the sharp angles of his face worn down by weeks of calculated silence. "She didn't just target us, Summer," Aaron said quietly, looking down at his cousin. "She did this to 6 other families in our home district. 2 of them divorced. One man lost his medical license after she doctored voice notes to make it sound like he was soliciting a patient. She made $80,000 off his retraction fee alone." Chloe pulled the towel tighter around herself, her teeth chattering despite the room's warmth. "Aaron, please. We're blood. Uncle Thomas will." Uncle Thomas signed the affidavit that authorized the financial freeze an hour ago, Aaron replied without an ounce of warmth. "Your accounts are locked. Pack your clothes." The female officer stepped forward, tapping Chloe's shoulder with an unyielding professional detachment. "Stand up, Ms. Vance. We have a transport waiting downstairs." The internet does not correct itself gently, it collapses like a poorly built scaffold. By midnight, the recorded clip of Aaron's announcement had been ripped from the private stream and re-uploaded across every major social platform. It didn't take an hour to reach 1 million views, it took 20 minutes. The very people who had spent 2 weeks calling me a pathetic, brainwashed doormat suddenly flooded my comment sections with frantic apologies and retroactive outrage. I knew something was off about her from day one. Summer Reynolds is a queen, she played the long game. Look how calm she was the entire time while Chloe was digging her own grave. Can we talk about the fact that Chloe was blackmailing married men for years? I didn't read them. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb, took a hot shower in my room on the 6th floor of the same hotel, and slept for 9 hours straight without dreaming. On Monday morning, I walked into the regional marketing office of Reynolds and Sterling at precisely 8:30. The floor was unusually quiet. The hum of the fluorescent lights seemed louder than usual. As I walked down the central corridor toward the executive conference room, conversations died mid-sentence. The intern, Jessica, the one who had laughed in my face on Friday while holding up Chloe's trending post, was sitting at her cubicle. When our eyes met, she jerked her hands away from her keyboard as if the plastic had burned her fingers. Her face flushed a deep, mottled red. I paused at the edge of her desk. "Jessica," I said evenly. She stood up so quickly her ergonomic chair rolled backward into the partition. Miss Reynolds. "Good morning." "The proposal for the Henderson account was due on Friday at 5, I said. "Where is the revised binder?" Her hands fumbled with a stack of manila folders. I stayed late on Saturday to finish it. I put the market analysis in section 3, just like you wanted. Miss Reynolds, about last week, I didn't know, the news online was so loud, and everyone was saying. I don't evaluate employees based on what strangers say on the internet, I interrupted, my tone neither angry nor lenient. I evaluate them on output, discretion, and basic professional competence. You failed on all 3 counts. Before the weekend began. She swallowed hard, her eyes brimming with sudden, panicked tears. "Please. I need this internship for my senior credits. Take your binder to Human Resources," I said. "Tell Mrs. Gable that I have recommended your transfer to the archiving basement for the remainder of the quarter. If you mention another social media rumor within 10 yards of a client file, you will be escorted from the building by security." I turned and walked away before she could reply. My supervisor, Mr. Douglas, was standing by the glass doors of his corner office, a mug of black coffee in hand. He had watched the interaction in silence. When I reached his door, he cleared his throat, shifting his weight uneasily. "Summer," he began, adopting that patronizing, paternal tone senior managers use when they realize they have backed the wrong horse. "I saw the news over the weekend. Quite a remarkable turn of events. I want to apologize for my harsh words on Friday. The company was under immense pressure regarding brand perception, and save it, Arthur," I said, handing him my badge in a crisp white envelope. Douglas blinked, looking down at the envelope. "What is this?" "My 2-week notice," I said. "Along with a formal complaint detailing your threat to terminate an employee based on unverified online harassment without an internal HR review. My attorney, Aaron Vance Cole, will be contacting the board of directors this afternoon regarding the hostile work environment created under your supervision." Douglas's coffee cup rattled against its saucer. "Summer, let's not be hasty. You're our top account strategist. We can discuss a promotion, a salary adjustment. You told me to fix my personal drama or leave," I said, meeting his eyes with a cold, steady gaze. "I fixed it. Now I'm leaving." 3 weeks later, the civil filings were processed through the district court. Chloe Vance was formally charged with 4 counts of felony wire fraud, 2 counts of extortion, and 11 counts of unlawful surveillance for commercial gain. Her accounts, containing over $600,000 in illicit subscriber revenue and hush money, were frozen and transferred into an escrow fund for restitution to her previous victims. The relationship testing industry took a catastrophic blow. Within 48 hours of Chloe's arrest, 3 of the largest loyalty test channels deleted their accounts, their creators vanishing into the anonymous ether before subpoenas could reach their doorsteps. On a Saturday afternoon, Aaron and I sat in a small, unpretentious cafe 3 blocks from our apartment. The sun was warm, filtering through the green leaves of the plane trees along the sidewalk. Between us sat a plate of blueberry scones and 2 cups of pour-over coffee. "My uncle called yesterday," Aaron said, setting his cup down. "He wanted to know if there was any way to negotiate a plea that avoids prison time for Chloe." "What did you tell him?" "I told him the law doesn't care about family reunions," Aaron said simply. "She made her living tearing other people's lives apart for clicks. She can spend the next 4 years explaining that to a parole board." He looked across the table at me. His expression was open, devoid of the calculating distance he had worn during the investigation. "You never doubted me," he said. "Not even when she posted those staged photos." I smiled faintly, stirring a spoonful of raw sugar into my cup. "I doubted the world," I said. I doubted our neighbors, my coworkers, and the millions of people who couldn't wait to watch another person suffer for their evening entertainment. But I never doubted you. I took a sip of the coffee. It was hot, clean, and perfectly bitter. People who are addicted to testing other people, I added, looking out at the pedestrians strolling peacefully down the sunlit avenue, always forget the most important rule of the game. What's that? Aaron asked. If you spend your whole life looking for monsters, I said, eventually, you realize you've turned into one.